Hello again. I thought I would just do another little video. Again, this is more for my benefit. I'm not trying to be some major YouTube channel. I think that would be beyond me. I do follow a lot of booktubers. Some of my wonderful old classics that I would have bought in the 1990s and read and devoured and just loved, and some crochet. I'll talk about that at the end. So yeah, so the Wordsworth classics, Thomas Hardy, my second favourite author, the story of Bathsheba Everdeen. I think it's Bathsheba, isn't it? Bathsheba Everdeen. Wonderful story. Absolutely loved Far from the Madding Crowd. I'm not going to go into detail of exactly what all the stories about. I don't like to give much away. I just love to go to a novel, a story, a classic, sort of fresh without any knowledge of it. I don't even tend to read. I certainly wouldn't read the introduction of any story I wanted to read. Occasionally, I read the back cover before buying, but by then I would have forgotten what was on the back cover. So I really like to go just experience it. Bit of a mix mash here, Hardy and Jane Austen. I know it doesn't look in order, but they've been on many a shelf. They've caught a lot of sun. As you can see, the spines are quite worn and sun bleached, etc. This is a really special novel to me and my best friend. We both read it. I think I read it first or maybe afterwards, and it just resonates. The Mayor of Casterbridge, what was his name again? Oh gosh, what was his name? Oh, Henchard. Oh my goodness, and what with his bit of drinking. But I don't want to give anything away because I just don't like to do that. Pride and Prejudice, I just adored it, but I was always really upset at school because I didn't do Jane Austen Pride and Prejudice O-level English. We won't go into that. I wasn't put into that group, unfortunately, and I was a little bit peeved. And there we go. I did go on to do the English Literature A-level, of course, but we didn't do this. But yeah, obviously an all-time favourite. It's not my favourite of Jane Austen's novels, but it certainly is really up there. I mean, they're all equal to me. They really are all. When I read Jane Austen's main novels in my 20s, I was just blown away, and she will remain my absolute utmost. And I do revisit and reread. This has only been read once, but you can see the spine is very untouched. It's almost one of those, that Penguin classics. You can sort of read them without bending too much, making too much of a mark down the spine. Yeah, they are well worn and well looked at and well studied. Tess of the D'Urberville. So after Jane Austen, I thought I'd get into Thomas Hardy. And this was my first Thomas Hardy I read. Wordsworth classics, so they're always quite cheap. I'd go to a particular bookshop in Bath and just pick up a load of Wordsworth classics. Obviously those that aren't in the public domain and could have and were just being printed at that time when they came into the public domain. When I read this, I thought it was just awesome, but I was utterly knocked over by the ending. That's all I'll say. I'm not going to say anything more because obviously I go from Jane Austen to Thomas Hardy, and then I'll just read book after book of them, which I did in this case. I was knocked over by the ending. That's all I can say. Tess of the D'Urberville, highly important piece of literature as far as I'm concerned. Thomas Hardy really understood a thing or two about what can happen to women, etc., etc. This is my absolute favourite, most precious book of all times. I would never get rid of it. This version is the only version I've got of Persuasion. Read it in my 20s. So I was just trying to show off the spine. It is read. I am a reader. I'm not normally an audiobook person by any means, ever. But I do have, with different authors like Agatha Christie, Sherlock Holmes, Arthur Conan Doyle. Oh, I'm such a waffler. I couldn't do a channel. This, oh my God, this blew me away, the ending. Though that one knocked me over, Tess of the D'Urbervilles, this, I just screamed out in unexpectation. I just remember running around my room trying to tell my other half something. I mean, I could say what I shouted out. Yeah, it's giving something away, but close your ears if it's a spoiler. I shouted out, "He loves her! He loves her! Oh my God, he loves her!" That's all. It was just like, whoa. But this is my absolute favourite, most precious novel of all times. My enjoyment of reading that in my 20s, I was probably about 23, but I was quite, youngy, immature. I still like kind of more teenagey. I always am, even to this day. I'm got the mentality of a teenager, but just, oh my God. Emma was my I think, no, Northanger Abbey. Absolutely loved this. And as you see, that's, but I love this because I just loved how the daughter-father relationship, it really reminded me so much of my precious dad, even in those days, to this day. But sadly, I no longer have my precious daddy, which is an absolute heartbreaking way to live. So Emma is highly precious because of the way she completely has this special relationship with her father, and does not want to not live with him and look after him in his older age. Absolutely love that. And here we are, Jude the Obscure, the final. In this selection, I've got other Thomas Hardys around the place, but because I had to put these on the floor, they were all on a shelf for years, and then I had them protected in a box. The sun has really got to so many of the spines, as you can see. There we are. Like, whoa. So Jude the Obscure, all I can say about that is every time I sort of think of masons and people that do stonework, I think of Jude the Obscure. But I have this little running joke with myself that I am, if you knew my name, so I won't give out my name because I'm trying to be a bit anonymous, but if you knew my name, I call myself the Obscure. I just can absolutely relate to a lot of, well, the thwarted ambition, shall we say, and reduced means by which one cannot live in the manner and in the way one had hoped one's life might turn out. That's all I can say. But obviously with a bit of humour. This is some crochet I started last night. This isn't the needle. The actual crochet needle's a bit bigger, but I've dropped it on the floor and I can't find it. So this is just an example of. It's going to be a bucket hat. I put 2 strands together, as you can see, and when it's finished, I'll show it on here. So there's a strand of that, kind of chunky, and some beautiful hand dyed from one of my YouTube channels I follow, Crafternoon Treats, the wonderful Catherine at Crafternoon Treats. I bought quite a bit of her hands dyed superwash, whatever it is, wool, but that's acrylic. But I'm going to make myself a nice, it just reminds me a bit like raspberry ripple ice cream, vanilla ice cream, the white stuff with a raspberry ripple colour going through. So I'm going to finish that bucket hat when I find my crochet needle that is probably on the floor somewhere. Thank you for listening. 8 minutes of waffle. Enjoy your classics, everyone, and lose yourself in them. It's a wonderful experience if you can do that.